this month's Twin Cities Immigration Forum. This is the May 2024 Twin Cities Immigration Forum that's co-hosted by the City of Minneapolis Immigrant and Refugee, the Office of Immigrant and Refugee Affairs, and the City of St. Paul Immigrant and Refugee Program. My name is Michelle Rivero. I use she, her pronouns. I'm the director of the Office of Immigrant and Refugee Affairs, and I will turn it over to my counterpart in St. Paul, Edmundo, to introduce himself.
Thanks, Michelle. Good afternoon, everybody. Edmundo Lijo, I'm an assistant city attorney with the City of St. Paul, and I am charged with managing, developing the Immigrant Refugee Program for the City of St. Paul. Welcome.
Super. So the purpose of this meeting, this is a monthly meeting that's co-hosted by our offices, Office of Immigrant and Refugee Affairs Minneapolis, City of St. Paul Immigrant and Refugee Program, to address topics of interest and concern to immigrant and refugee residents and individuals and organizations that serve the immigrant and refugee community. This monthly series began as a way to unpack new federal immigration policies, programs, actions, and news in 2021. And the forum has expanded beyond immigration updates to include discussions on a variety of topics touching Minnesota residents with community and government speakers and updates. I've put the agenda for this month's forum in the chat. We'll start with some recognitions taking place this month, including Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander Heritage Month, some recognitions coming up next month, and a few presentations, including from city staff here in City of Minneapolis with Christina Kendrick talking about boards and commissions, Dorothy Jackson here from the Department of Human Resources. We'll have Catherine Tran speaking on the Immigrant Entrepreneur Summit. Invite you all to share updates that you have, events that are taking place in community. We have some space slotted for additional government and community updates, some immigration updates, and a little bit of extra credit and information about our next Twin Cities Immigration Forum happening in June. And with that, Edmundo, maybe I can turn it over to you to start us out with recognitions this month.
Sure. We have several recognitions this month. First, we have, one second. Still having a little problem with the chat. Sorry. We have Older Adults Month, Minneapolis. Michelle, I'm having some technical difficulties.
That's okay. I'll start with this, and then once you're up to speed, I'll turn it over to you. So I mentioned Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Edmundo just mentioned Older Adults Month, and for those two recognitions, City of Minneapolis did advance resolutions, and we'll include copies of those resolutions in the chat. Also, want to remind folks of International Workers' Day, which was May 1st. One really fascinating aspect of the International Workers' Day resolution, which was advanced before Minneapolis City Council, is that there are remarks by our Latino community specialist, Mariano Espinosa, in Spanish translated into English. So very beautiful and recorded. So we'll put those into the chat as well. And I know that we have folks online who participated in at least one of those resolutions. So if, I don't want to put you on the spot, but if there's anything that you'd like to share, please feel free to share. Otherwise, we'll just move along with events that will be taking place next month so that people have them on their radar.
And I'm back operational, Michelle. I got it working.
Okay, sounds good. So you may want to move along with events taking place next month or recognitions next month, Edmundo.
Sure. Yep. June is a very busy month. We have several celebrations and recognitions, including Pride Month, Juneteenth, Immigrant Heritage Month, World Refugee Day, and Caribbean American Heritage Month. And we'd like to invite any organization or entity who may be either doing a celebration or have some type of resolution or proclamation that they're wanting to let everybody know about, to please contact Michelle or I, and we'd be happy to highlight you next month and highlight your celebrations and your proclamations or resolutions. So please reach out to us and let us know if you'll be celebrating any of these events, and so we can share events widely with our listserv. Next, we could start go into our presentations. First up, I believe, is Christina Kendrick from the City of Minneapolis Boards and Commissions. Christina with us?
I am. You know what? I was struggling with Teams as well in Mundo. Maybe there's just something universal happening.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for asking me to come and talk about boards and commissions. I'm by no means an expert. I happen to staff one and have for a long time as well, assisted with several other of our boards and commissions. What I wanted to just kind of put, though, into the space and touch on, as Michelle and I talked about, ways for folks to be able to get involved more in having their voices heard and, sharing their experiences and their wisdom, which is a huge value for the city of Minneapolis, is an opportunity to serve on boards and commissions. We do 2 recruitment processes throughout the year. One is in spring, so it's roughly around March, and the other one I think is in September. It's fall. But it is a great way for individuals to participate in decision-making processes in another way beyond the other community engagement efforts that we do at the city, and to ensure as a collective, whatever board and commission you are choosing to serve on, that you're able to bring issues forward to not only the city council and the mayor, but our departments utilize our boards and commissions quite often by coming to either get input or to offer presentations and ask for help getting information out to the community. I can definitely I will put the link for our boards and commissions into.
I did it.
Oh, thank you. And also, did you do the resolution for older adults?
I did. If you want to talk
you.
about that, Christina, please do. I know.
Sure. Yeah, more than happy to. We actually, in the city of Minneapolis, celebrate May as Older Adults Month. Federally, it is recognized as Older Americans Month, but we, for many years, have chosen not to use that language. We, at the city, celebrate all of our elders. And are actually looking into a partnership with such as AARP, et cetera, to think about how we can approach federally to change that language. That language came about, I think it was in '63. It started with Senior Citizens Month and evolved by Lyndon B. Johnson. I'm terrible at history too. I can't believe I'm popping some of this off right now. To finally end up being May is recognized as Older Americans Month. But as I stated, in the city of Minneapolis, we have eliminated that particular language, and it depends on what the theme is that the organization that kind of carries the torch for Older Americans Month has chosen. This year, we actually really liked the theme. It's called Powered by Connection, and it really tries to highlight the importance of not only having elders connect with other people in their community, and really kind of focusing on social isolation reduction, et cetera, but it's also really highlighting the voices of our elders and understanding the value that they bring, and the wisdom and they're really one of the most, in my personal opinion, one of the most untapped social capital that's out there. They just bring so much to our communities, especially to our youth, but to anyone and everyone around. So yeah, we had Older Adults Month resolution today, along with several others. Thank you for popping the boards and commission stuff into the chat. As I said, I do staff a board and commission. As you might guess, I am the staff for the Advisory Committee on Aging. And we are responsible for, including myself in my department of Neighborhood and Community Relations, for our Minneapolis for a Lifetime. It's an age-friendly action plan. I'm going to put that website in the link because the last round of engagement that we did in late 2021, early 2022, really had a very strong focus on our cultural communities. And instead of having like these blanket recommendations, which of course we do, we were very intentional on the conversations we were having with individual cultural communities as to what they felt their needs were specifically for that community. So I do have the recommendations broken down by community as well. So I can put a link to that in the chat.
I did put the link in the chat. So Christina,
what you might want
to do is put your contact information in the chat so people can reach out if they have questions. And if folks have been here for a few months, you may remember Christina from when she did bring this information forward to the Twin Cities Immigration Forum quite a few months ago. I think it was last year. So when it was brand spanking new. So thank you very much for coming back, for all that you shared. Really encourage people to check in with Christina to learn more about boards and commissions, and particularly to learn more about the entity that she staffs, which, can you remind me of the name of it just one more time?
So it's long because we actually started with a plan, if you will, an aging plan before the World Health Organization, AARP, approached us to get the designation. We were actually the first city in the state of Minnesota to be designated by AARP and the World Health Organization as an age-friendly community. Now the entire state finally received the designation. I don't even think it's been a year. So what was I saying?
The commission.
So it's really long. I'm typing it in the chat. I'm actually typing it in the chat. So it started off as Minneapolis for a Lifetime, and we did not want to lose our autonomy as a city because we're really unique compared to a lot of the other cities, and of course the state, and in how we look at our aging population and the needs that they have, the value that they bring, and et cetera. So it's a long name, so I'm going to type it, but it's Minneapolis for a Lifetime Age-Friendly Action Plan.
Wonderful. And then the commission is Advisory Committee on Aging.
Yep,
correct?
And I'll put that too.
Wonderful. Okay. Thank you, Tina. Really appreciate all the information that you shared. If folks have questions for Tina, please don't hesitate to reach out. Her contact information is in the chat, and she is one of the most responsive employees in the city of Minneapolis. So I know she'll get back in touch with you
and
soon.
Dorothy, I know you mentioned me in Teams, so I'll get back to you about Pride. But yes,
Awesome.
I do respond fairly quickly to email, 100% to email.
Wonderful. Super. Thank you. And with that, we'll turn it over.
Nice seeing everyone.
Appreciate it. To Dorothy Jackson, City of Minneapolis Human Resources Department. Thank you so much for joining us, Dorothy. Mike's yours.
Thank you so much for having me. Hello, wonderful people. As Michelle stated, my name is Dorothy Jackson. I'm a recruiter with the City of Minneapolis. I've been with the City of Minneapolis for about a year. I just made a year a couple of weeks ago. In my recruitment position, I'm responsible for attracting talent into the city and promoting job opportunities, career opportunities, and internships. I have kind of taken the initiative to weave into my fabric a community engagement aspect, because HR hasn't historically done any outreach. So I found it very important for me to kind of incorporate that in the work that I do. So I'm here to talk about an event that I have that's coming up next week, or in 2 weeks. Sorry, I think I just sent the flyer. It's called HR Bridges. So when I've been recruiting, I have been noticing that I can't capture a lot of those underrepresented communities and populations by sitting behind a computer screen. Our workforce at the city isn't as diverse because a lot of individuals don't even know about the opportunities that we have. So this is an event that's going to take place on May 22nd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. where HR professionals and along with some other department hiring managers will be present to help the community in a 100% free event. We're going to be providing interview tips and tricks. do resume and cover letter review and give tips on creating the right resume. We're going to talk about our overall application process. Everybody knows that the government process isn't that linear or easy. So we're going to try to kind of troubleshoot some of those things and talk about the application process. We're also going to provide free professional headshots on site, and we're going to provide a free lunch. So this is open to the public. It's at 800 West Broadway Avenue North. We're partnering with Career Force Center North. This is a pilot event. I've never done this before. If it ends up, getting a lot of traction, and it's a huge need for the community, my goal is to make this like a reoccurring thing. We do have one planned tentatively in the fall on the south side, but I want people to be able to benefit from this. So even if someone doesn't even get a job with the city, they can at least come in and get some tools and some resources that can maybe apply to another entity. So thank you, Michelle, for inviting me. I wanted to spread this information just in case anyone who is listening, or if you have a network of any participants that may benefit from an event of this sort. I would love for you to spread the info. And like I said, it's 100% free. They can just bring their best selves, and we'll be there to rock it out and support.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Dorothy. And again, if you wouldn't mind putting your contact information in the chat so people can reach out. I love this opportunity. Yes. I think that, Edmundo and I are also always sharing information about opportunities, including at the city of Minneapolis and the city of St. Paul, and including links to our city job sites where people can inquire and learn more, and just having a connection to an actual bona fide recruiter at the city is really a lovely, lovely opportunity. So we're grateful that you're here today, that you're able to take time on very, very short notice to join us and share information about this event that's coming up in a couple of weeks. If there's anyone who has questions about the event that's taking place at Career Force North on the 22nd, please shout out your question, raise your hand if you like. If you have any other questions about recruiting at City of Minneapolis and would like to ask Dorothy, her contact information is in the chat, and we invite you to reach out. Just hold space for a second. Go ahead, Dorothy. It looks like you wanted to add.
I do want to add that we will have on-site Spanish speaking and Hmong speaking translators, and I am in the process of getting Somali speaking. So I'll be able to officially announce that at least before the end of the day tomorrow. But for sure, I have Hmong speaking and Spanish speaking interpreters just in case. Wonderful. And this is its first event. Hopefully, by the time the second event, I have time to get all languages down.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Any questions for Dorothy? All right, y'all. Thank you very much, Dorothy, again, and Edmundo.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Michelle. Next up, we have Catherine Tran. Catherine is the Executive Director of Immigrant Entrepreneur Summit. She's here to talk a little bit about the 2024 Summit in Minnesota coming up at the end of the month. Hi, Catherine. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for inviting me. Hello, everyone. I've been on this forum before, and I'm very glad to see you all. So as Edmundo said, I am the executive director for a nonprofit organization called the Immigrant Entrepreneur Summit, and we are hosting our upcoming event at the end of this month. So Friday, May 31st, it will be at Base Camp Leadership Center. And that's in Fort Snelling, and it's a full day event. So lots of different activities on it. I will put the link into the chat for you all to reference. But yes, the idea of the event and the organization is to support small businesses and entrepreneurs, particularly those from immigrant backgrounds, minority backgrounds, those that might have barriers to access or don't know how to do business in the US. So it's really made to fill some of those gaps that are there. So there are going to be 9 different workshops throughout the day, which will be on a variety of different topics, so people can pick and choose what is most relevant to them, from anywhere from accounting to procurement to legal. So there's going to be a lot of those type of sessions. There's going to be exhibitors, so people who are sharing resources with their community on different entrepreneurial resources and business resources. So we invite everyone to come, and Edmundo and Michelle will be there as well to speak on the to speak about efforts from the city and state level. So we're very excited to host them again this year. And then during the luncheon, there's going to be a panel on business resources as well as immigrant success stories. So that's always kind of that inspiring, uplifting time to join in and hear about what the immigrant business community is doing, and some awesome trailblazers in the community that are making great pathways for immigrant business success. So I'll send afterward a flyer so people can pass that around. There is a admissions cost that is $35. But for those who are immigrant entrepreneurs that you think might be interested, but might have like an economic barrier, I'm happy to extend some complimentary tickets. So if you have any, I will just put my email in the chat. Feel free to connect me with them, and we can get them registered. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Catherine. Thank you so much. That was great. Thank you for the update. Any questions for Catherine on the summit? It is the 31st, the end of the month, and excited to be there. If you've attended in years past, you know there's a lot of great information, a lot of good connections made with immigrant entrepreneurs throughout the Twin Cities. So I'd really encourage those who are interested to attend.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks. All right. If no questions, we'll go on to the next. We'll go to additional government and community updates. First, we'd like to highlight the Minnesota Promise Act. This is a piece of legislation that's providing resources and opportunities and maximizing investment in striving entrepreneurs. Act. It is a small business revitalization program that will provide grants and loans to disadvantaged businesses located in certain Minneapolis, St. Paul, and greater Minnesota areas. Many of our cultural destination areas are included in the Promise Act, as well as many of the cultural destination areas in Minneapolis. I know they're called something different, but it's an opportunity for immigrant entrepreneurs to tap into some grant funding and some training and loans that might be able to assist in building their businesses. We'll put a link in the chat to the for more information about the Promise Act. And with that, we'll turn it over to Michelle for the next update.
Yep. For folks who joined us last month or who were able to watch the recording, you may remember that Amanda Harrington from the Office of Community Safety presented on community safety centers, a temporary and a permanent location that are planned for later this year. There is a survey on the South Minneapolis Community Safety Center, which is now open. And the city is hoping to reach as many community members as possible to get feedback on what services they would like to see in the center. The survey is open until May 24th. If you're able to complete the survey and share it within your networks, we would be very grateful. So I'll put that in the chat. And for folks who may not have yet had the opportunity to watch the presentation on the Planned Community Safety Center, if you watched last month's forum, the April 2024 Twin Cities Immigration Forum, you'll see a presentation by Amanda Harrington. And so you can get up to speed and look forward to receiving folks' survey results. So I'll just plug that into the chat and also invite folks who are with government or community, if you have updates that you would like to share. Callie will get into yours with the immigration related updates. So in just a few moments, but if anyone has an update that you'd like to share, it could be about a job posting, an RFP, an engagement opportunity, an event that you may be hosting in community that you want to make sure people have on their radar. Or any other update, we'll hold space open, turn the mic over to you to share your update before we go into immigration related topics. All right, holding the silence for like 2 more seconds. Feel free to just go, if you do have an update, to just go ahead and share it. No need to stand on ceremony and raise your hand. I'm just plugging the information about the survey into the chat. Okay. All right, so I've put the Safety Center survey into the chat. I also put a link to the April Twin Cities Immigration Forum. So we'll turn to immigration related updates. The first thing we wanted to share is there was a hearing on the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program at the Senate Judiciary on Wednesday. Invite folks to take some time and watch that hearing. I've not yet watched it, so I can't tell you how great it was, but I anticipate that it was really good. And as I'm plugging that into the chat, I'll turn the mic over to Callie Pliego, who will talk about the ABIC Here to Work campaign. Callie, to you.
All right, thank you, Michelle. I actually did watch that part of it, the judiciary hearing on Wednesday, and it was good, and glad you elevated or uplifted it here. So my name is Callie Pliego. I am a volunteer with an organization called American Families United. I am on the board of the organization and have been volunteering with them for now a decade. American Families United is a national organization made up of United States citizens who have married foreign nationals and have barriers to successfully adjusting to legal status for their spouses. We, AFU, American Families United, have joined up in a coalition with American Business Immigration Coalition, ABIC, for the Here to Work campaign. It occurs to me that I was here talking about Here to Work campaign last year in the fall. The kickoff event was a large march. There were over 2,000 people that marched in Washington from Capitol Hill to the White House. And it was the beginning of a campaign in which the focus of efforts to gain relief for the long-term undocumented immigrant in the community in the United States, from legislative fixes to the executive. And so we started this long-term, many-month campaign to put energy and emphasis towards the president's administration to provide relief for the people that are encompassed in that in the population that we're seeking to find relief for. So ABIC recently presented to a group at the city here about this Here to Work campaign. I'm going to just hit send. I already had it queued up in the chat here. So there's a website there. I would encourage, if you're going to look at the website, there's a button called News/Media. And it just covers a lot of examples of the current ask for local government, state, city, county, whatever fits, is to host local in-state actions. And so in that news and media tab on the website, you can see examples of that occurring. And so, I do already have my email in the chat. I'll put it in again because it was way up at the top of the chat. I'll put my email in, and if anybody, if there's interest in working on doing something at the state level, we can organize. And I see Rahina's here. I spoke with her earlier today. That's funny. Glad to see you. And so that's the ask. It's there's a lot more detail to it, but I want to keep it brief. So I would take questions, but really I think getting in touch with me via email is going to be the best.
Great. Thank you, Kelly. Maybe, did you pop your email in the chat? Maybe you can just pop it in.
Yep, there it is. I just put it in again for you, everybody.
Great. Thank you so much. Any quick questions for Kelly? I know she said she'd rather connect with through email, but if you do have a quick question right now, we'd love to entertain it. Okay. If not, thank you, Kelly. As always great to have you on. Always got important information to share.
Thank you for allowing me to. I have to go, so I wish I could stick around.
Good to see you. Take care. All right, next, you may recall last month, Michelle and I talked a little bit about a new Iowa law that was passed that gave law enforcement the authority to arrest undocumented individuals as well as documented individuals that may have an order of removal or may have had issues with immigration in the past. It made it unlawful for any people with immigration issues as well as being undocumented to be in Iowa. It's a very controversial draconian law that was similar to the law passed in Texas. Well, there is news today that the American Immigration Council filed a lawsuit to block SF 2340, which is the Iowa law that was passed, together with the ACLU of Iowa and the ACLU Immigrants' Rights Project. They filed a lawsuit in federal court to find the new Iowa law to be unconstitutional. And we will put information about this lawsuit on an article from the American Immigration Council. You may recognize the American Immigration Council. They're one of the partners in the Gateways to Growth initiative, which gave both the cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul an opportunity to create our Journey to Belonging immigrant inclusion plan. So American Immigration Council, which is, I believe, a branch of the American Immigration Lawyers Association, has been very active and very thankful and grateful that they filed a lawsuit today. So we'll put information in the chat about that lawsuit if people are interested. Also, let's see, next, the National Partnership for New Americans had a training today on the new N-400 application for naturalization and the request for a reduced fee. While you may have missed that training, I did, but we do have a recording of the training and we'll put it in the chat so you can watch the recording if you're interested. NPNA also provided some toolkits. One, Naturalization Now, Economic Equity and the Path to Naturalization. It's a step-by-step guide to completing the N-400. And also, I believe they also provided a Spanish translation of the N-400 that was produced by the ILRC. And we'll put all of those in the chat as well so that you can take a look at them if you're interested. Michelle, turn it back to you. I think we're up to additional government community updates in the city of Minneapolis.
Sorry, I was muted. Actually, I think that the additional things that we'll share include other welcoming spaces that folks are invited to participate in conjunction with the State of Minnesota Department of Human Services Resettlement Programs Office, City of St. Paul Immigrant and Refugee Program, and City of Minneapolis Office of Immigrant and Refugee Affairs co-facilitates a bi-weekly meeting, which is changing its name from Welcoming Twin Cities to Welcoming Minnesota, on alternate Wednesdays from 4:30 to 5:30. This is a meeting that is virtual as well and is focused on collaborative efforts in welcoming newcomers to our cities and state. Our next meeting is on Wednesday, May 22nd at 4:30. The calendar of meetings is on the OIRA calendar of events, and you can always feel free to reach out to Edmundo, myself, to William Castellanos or Giovanni Veliz at the Resettlement Programs Office to receive an invite for this space. Also wanted to share that the Office of Immigrant and Refugee Affairs continues to host office hours in community on Wednesdays, every Wednesday at the Career Force Center, which is at 777 East Lake Street from 2 to 4 p.m. And it has been a great space to connect with newcomers and provide resource information. We've been super grateful for the collaboration of many, including fellow staff at the City of Minneapolis, our Latino community specialists, folks from the Minneapolis Police Department. Our Civil Rights Department was represented, and also City of St. Paul, Immigrant and Refugee Program, Edmundo Lijo. We also had a representative from the Attorney General's office. We've had folks from the Resettlement Programs Office participate, and Neighborhood Health Source, as well as Community University Healthcare Center. So it's been a great place for folks who are serving immigrant and refugee residents and connecting people to resources to actually meet with community members. If people are interested in learning more, please don't hesitate to reach out to myself with the Office of Immigrant and Refugee Affairs, Minneapolis. And just another reminder, City of Minneapolis and City of St. Paul are always hiring. I know Dorothy came on earlier. We'll also share the links to our job pages in the chat. And Edmundo, I think I'll turn it over to you for the extra credit. And also invite people to, if you have things that you'd like to share, feel free to put it in the chat or raise your hand. And we'll make sure that that you have an opportunity to share your update as well.
Great, thanks,
Thank
Michelle.
you.
We're going to share something we've been doing the last few months, some extra credit, given that it's Asian Pacific Islander Month this month. We also have a book that was recommended by the Department of Civil Rights, Minneapolis Department of Civil Rights, I believe, The Loneliest Americans by J. Caspian Kang. And we'll put a link to that, or a little note about the book. It's a very interesting book about being an Asian American in the United States, and really goes through the history and the difficulties that Asian Americans have had with immigration, and what the different challenges that Asian Americans face growing up in the United States. It's a very powerful book. If you haven't read it, I strongly recommend it. Also, we'd like to mention that there is a concert on May 12th, this Sunday, at the Cedar Cultural Center. And it's a very interesting concert because we talk a lot here about new arrivals and how they bring many talents and skills and abilities to the United States, and aren't always have the opportunity to share and use those skills. And this concert is a concert that's being held together with Joe Troop, who is a well-known bluegrass music performer from Appalachia, and he has partnered with Larry Bellerin from Venezuela, who's a very famous Venezuelan musician who is here seeking asylum. And there was a PBS special on the collaboration between the two, which we will put in the chat, a link to that special, as well as several stories about the two and how they've partnered together. And Larry's been able to really tap into his musical talents and really thrive in North Carolina in partnership with Joe Troop. They will be performing in Minneapolis, as I said, on Sunday, May 12th at 7:30 at Cedar Cultural Center, and we'll put a link where you can check out tickets for that performance if you are interested. And with that, I think we are ready to open up to any other updates or discussions people would like to have So if anyone has updates you'd like to share, this would be a good time to just speak up or raise your hand, and happy to entertain updates from everyone on the call.
And as you all are thinking, if you have an update to share, if there's a topic that you would like to address at a future forum, please don't hesitate to reach out to Edmunda and myself. We are always working to make this space more useful and effective in connecting folks with information and addressing topics that are of importance to our immigrant and refugee residents and individuals who are working with and are serving the immigrant and refugee community in the Twin Cities area. So if there's a topic that you would like to explore, if there's a topic you'd like to present on, please always consider reaching out to Edmundo and myself. Usually it's helpful to have a couple of weeks notice so that we can try and prepare. So do reach out to us whenever to raise a topic that you would like to bring to the Twin Cities Immigration Forum. And we're really grateful for the topics that have been brought through folks who attend or folks who are connected to this space or who learn about this space. So thank you very much for the information that you've shared that has made past sessions as robust as they've been able to be. And with that, if there are things that people would like to talk about today or events that are taking place you want to make sure are on everyone's radar, please do share your updates. We know that there are, as we talked about in the beginning, a number of recognitions next month, including Pride, Juneteenth, Immigrant Heritage Month, World Refugee Day, and Caribbean American Heritage Month. We also recognize the intersectionality between communities where individuals may have a number of identities and so are always looking for opportunities to connect, welcome, to recognize, and to honor communities, including with these many recognitions that are taking place next month. So please don't hesitate to reach out if there's something that you would like to share in anticipation of the June Twin Cities Immigration Forum. We'll be working to celebrate these many occasions and recognitions. And with that, I'm not seeing any hands raised. I'm not seeing anything in the chat. So maybe we'll give it just a couple of seconds more and we'll turn it over to Edmundo, where we may want to just close out a little bit early today. And we'll work to make sure that the recording for today's forum is available as quickly as possible for everyone.
Thanks, Michelle. Our next Twin Cities Immigration Forum is going to be on Thursday, June 13th from 4:30 to 6 p.m. Also, the Welcome Twin Cities meeting, which is going to become Welcome Minnesota meeting soon, is, I believe, 2 weeks from yesterday, which would be
June 22nd.
May 22nd.
May 22nd.
May 22nd at 4:30, and a link to both meetings. We'll make those available for anyone who's interested. Please email us, either Michelle or I, if you're interested in joining in either of those meetings and don't have a link to those next upcoming meetings. Wonderful. All right. If no further questions or updates, I thank everyone for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you next month.
If not before.
Enjoy the weather.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great afternoon.
Thanks. Take care.